Off the coast of Louisiana, this is a crucial day in the efforts to stop that oil leak. The work is happening a mile beneath the ocean surface. Their remote-controlled submersibles are trying to activate something called a blowout preventer. Think of it as the emergency brake on this oil leak. If they can get that done in 12 hours, that is the quick fix to this problem. If they can't, then the oil companies are going to have to drill a relief well, which will go down and essentially cap off the original well to stop the leak. Now, that process could take months, and so at a rate of 42,000 gallons a day that's coming out of that oil leak, they are hoping that the remote control vehicles can make that blowout preventer work and stop this oil slick from spreading. Right now, it is about 600 square miles in the Gulf of Mexico. It is 30 miles from shore, and officials do not think it is going to reach shore in the next couple of days. However, onshore precautions are already being taken. Booms are being set in place to keep any potential oil from getting into the wetlands. The wetlands here along the Gulf Coast, as you can imagine, are very fragile because they have been battered by hurricanes, most recently Katrina. But they are also very important to the economy of the Gulf Coast because it is there in those wetlands that shrimp breed, that there are breeding grounds for fish and for birds, and so they are very important not just to the environment but to the whole way of life down here.
من جهة ثانية يخشى خبراء البيئة من تحول البقعة النفطية الكبيرة قرب سواحل لويزيانا إلى أكبر وأسوأ البقع النفطية المتسربة في تاريخ الولايات المتحدة.
Donc une marée noire exceptionnelle, une des pires qu'aient jamais connues les États-Unis qui se préparent. Les premières nappes de pétrole ont atteint les côtes de la Louisiane et les autorités américaines semblent dépassées par l'ampleur de cette catastrophe. Elles somment le groupe BP d'agir davantage. Manon Bugot.
Poussé par des vents violents, le pétrole a rapidement atteint les côtes de la Louisiane. Ici, c'est un sanctuaire de la biodiversité qui est touché. La marée noire s'étend désormais sur près de 80 000 km². Elle menace maintenant la Floride, qui vient elle aussi de décréter l'état d'urgence. L'explosion de cette plateforme du pétrolier BP il y a plus d'une semaine est devenue une catastrophe nationale. Pour colmater la fuite du puits de pétrole, des robots sous-marins ont été envoyés à 1500 mètres de profondeur, mais ils n'ont pas réussi à fermer les vannes de sécurité. Chaque jour, ce sont donc 800 000 litres qui continuent de se déverser dans l'océan. Cette marée noire s'annonce pire que celle provoquée en 1989 par l'Exxon Valdez. À l'époque, 1300 km des côtes de l'Alaska avaient été souillés par les hydrocarbures.
Nuit et jour, on s'affaire dans le golfe du Mexique pour tenter de contenir la nappe de pétrole et prévenir son arrivée massive sur les côtes. Le gouverneur de l'État, qui a proclamé l'état d'urgence, se prépare.
Each day brings more oil and fresh fears. Deep beneath the Gulf of Mexico, a pipeline is spewing its toxic waste into these waters, and so far they haven't worked out how to stop it. The first images are emerging of the effect on wildlife. Hundreds of species have made their home in these fragile ecosystems. Scientists know they are now at the mercy of the winds. BP, which owns the drilling site, is in a race to protect the environment. It is also in a race to protect its global brand. Under US law, it is responsible for the cleanup and compensation costs.
Aux États-Unis toujours, les efforts se poursuivent pour tenter de contenir la marée noire dans le golfe du Mexique. Après 3 jours de vent fort et de mer houleuse, la météo est plus clémente. Les équipes ont pu reprendre leur travail hier. Plus de 2500 personnes ont déployé des barrages flottants. Les avions sont chargés de répandre des produits chimiques dispersants. Le pompage du pétrole doit suivre. Des robots sous-marins tentent de fermer la valve de sécurité du puits. La compagnie pétrolière BP, responsable de la catastrophe, espère placer d'ici une semaine 3 énormes réservoirs de béton au-dessus des fuites.
Fighting a losing battle as the choppy waters of the Gulf of Mexico push a vast oil slick over floating booms designed to stop it. British-owned petrol giant BP has promised to compensate all those affected by the oil spill from one of its wells, which exploded last month, although they claim the accident was none of their making.
What has failed here is the ultimate safety device on a drilling rig. There are many barriers of protection that you have to go through before you get to this. It isn't designed to not fail. It is unprecedented in our industry for this sort of failure.
The Gulf supports a seafood industry that is second only to Alaska in the US. Wildlife experts also fear a heavy toll on animals and birds. BP has begun drilling a secondary well to try and draw off the gushing oil from the ruptured pipeline, but its bosses face a grilling in Washington today over its response to the unfolding environmental disaster.
As oil continues to spew into the Gulf of Mexico, efforts are now being concentrated on a device to cap the flow. BP, the company responsible for the spill, are constructing a giant funnel to contain the leak. A 40-foot iron box will connect to long tubing, and together they will channel the oil to the surface, where it will be collected by a barge.
Essentially, it's a 98-ton rectangular box that will be lowered over the major source of the leak at the seabed and funnel the oil through the box, through the top, and channel it all the way to the surface where we will have a ship that will be able to collect it and capture the oil and minimize the impact to the environment.
It seems the economic and environmental costs of the spill are causing others to reconsider the benefits of drilling. California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger has withdrawn his support for an oil exploration plan off his state's coast.